let's get into that. Okay, so what are your thoughts on what he just said here?
I will say this. He impressed me a little bit coming from somebody who's a Satanist and somebody who really just wants to do his best to expose the Bible as a waste of time because he found out that there's a such thing as being lied to. That's the fault I have with him. But he did a really good job at, mind you, he put his own spin on it, where he's trying to almost, in a way, incorporate that letters and words is reality coding and programming. No, 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 no. Just like the brother Scam said earlier, that was the case, then that would be going on. That, like, we're speaking allegory here, and so when we try to make it literal, confusion pops up. So when he spoke of duality, you can say that's, in a way, that's esoteric, but also it's literal. Duality is a fundamental scientific fact, right? You're There's a proverbial saying that says, "Do not let the door hit you where the good Lord split you." You're divided and you're united at the same time. You have a left and a right. You know what your left is because of your right. Vice versa. You're weak and you're strong. You rest, you work just to rest, you rest just to work. You get up just to get down, you get down just to get up. These are fundamental truths that we understand even through our most basic observation. So what he was doing is he was expounding on the fact that Christ is so young, but yet Christ was taking a simple, basic spelling class, if you will, language class on just alphabet. And he was literally speaking about the entire structure of our existence, just using the first letter.
Using word, right? So understanding that the word, when they say the word is God and God was with the word, the actual alphabet actually is the word of God. Literally, even if you break down how the words are shaped from a mathematical standpoint, and what those words mean as they're drawn, etc. So it's not just an alphabet. You can't just be like A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you're saying. I think our only disagreements is that you're right about the literal aspect, but the literal, basically nothing can be taken completely literal, because the scripture is teaching us that there's hidden elements to everything that you see. Well, you've heard of the saying, "Beware of the leavening." Basically, a little bit of baking soda will make the bread rise. Essentially, like when I look at you and you look at me, you see the outside, you see the shell, but you don't see my organs, my blood, my bone marrow. That's a scientific explanation of
Right.
this phenomenon.
So when we, and you know what's even deeper when you get into cursive.
Yeah.
Cursive is not even using straight lines. It's using circles and this continuous way of like writing that in reality is it's a whole, that's bringing on a whole nother form of reality, which actually, I had this Baba Alawa over here, and he was talking about how the earth is really, everything is really based in plasma. And I believe that you have the rigid structure of the earth and the things that you see, and then you have that kind of like circular thing that is the thing that are unseen. And that's why it's interesting they call that cursive versus the alphabet, so interesting.
So we going from letters and understanding letters to a hidden meaning because of some letters. Is that what we're doing?
Pseudepigraphy.
Essentially, what's happening is that there's a representation or a symbolism behind everything, and I think that was what the whole excerpt was going on with about this brother Morg and his venture into esoteric understanding, using Christ, basically the infancy of Christ, and the little segment that he had with the language teacher.
Because I totally don't agree with it, but if a story is a story nonetheless, because
I think it's not just a story. I think it's one thing to have the surface story, but then the story underneath. I think that's what it really boils down to, is that
it's like a comic book. That's all,
Or like
some comic
Jack and
books are
Jill went up the
popular.
hill to fetch a pail of water. Somebody fell down, broke his cap, and Jill came to. So there's like the overarching story, and then there is the inner meaning to the story. So he's saying that even with writing and language, there is the basic understanding of that thing, A, B, C, D, E, and then you have the deeper meaning to each letter, and that like that letters and speech and all this different thing. There's something more to it than just writing and language. I think that's what's really saying. So really, it really gets into being able to speak things into existence when you actually think about it, right? Because when you get past just writing down the words and you actually speak the words and you understand that these letters of the words have a different function, then when you string these words together, then you have a deeper meaning, and then those meanings have a surface level meaning, and then they have a deeper meaning altogether, which is why you can speak things into existence.
So which letters have more power? Which language? Because if it was all power in some letters and some words, when we should have a unified language, and that would be the one with the power to do whatever you need to get done.
Absolutely. I agree with what Scam just said. That was Scam, right? I agree exactly with what you just said. There's where this, it's all about principle, schoolmasters. It's about principality, not about literal observation. Sister Genesis was correct about deeper underlying meanings that are given through symbolism or representations. However, the words itself, the letters, the scribbles on a piece of paper, that's all mortal. That's all temporary, finite, limited to the earthly realm that Christ testifies of. He testifies as a witness, as we are all witnesses. We experience mortality. It's almost as like what you can call a simulation where you can experience what life is, but you can't necessarily when you're also experiencing what death is. And to the sensible understanding or logic, that's contrary to each other. That's what we would call oxymoronic. It's a contradiction in itself. It's either you're living or you're dying. You can't do both. But the power of this God and the testimony behind this God is saying that he can do all things, and he put us in, he gave us the ability to either be condemned or redeemed, but you can only be one of the two. You have to choose. So if I do something bad, I'm given the ability to redeem myself. And if I redeem myself, I also have the ability to, once again, make a mistake and go right back into condemnation. It's like when you're driving. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait a minute. You said either or, but what about the third option?
That's a great point. That's a great point, because that's why the law says, and this is a spiritual law, it says 2 or 3. That's the number. That's the magic number. We can't deviate from that number no matter how hard we try. So like you were saying, what about the third, right? You get 3 options that is made out of 2. You can either dominate, submit, or you can be in the middle, or you can be a man, a woman, or you can be a child, which comes from the man and the woman. The child isn't the man or the woman, but the child needs the man or the woman to exist. Nothing deviates from this principle. It's even scientifically: hot, cold, lukewarm, light, shadow, dim, vision, blindness. You could just say what we are now. We see and we don't see at the same time. Some people believe that there's a moment in time where you can speak a fact and not an opinion. I disagree. I think facts are established through agreement, and agreement is how we solidify truth. Because everything that I say, no matter how smart I am, or no matter how many of you agree with me, it's still an opinion at the end of the day. Do you all agree?
I agree with that. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Go ahead.
I'm on the third option because I don't know if I'm to believe or I'm convinced. So I'm right there in the middle with the third option of, since I don't see evidence for one, I don't want to err on the side of being with the wrong one. So I'm on the third option.
I don't know. The third option is I don't know.
Would the third option be a good word for it? Would be indifference?
I'm waiting for the. Well, I mean, if you putting a lot on the line here, saying that you have selected what you think is the right one, and I'm saying, how do you truly know that you have the right one if you're going by faith?
Well, here's
That's a
the
good.
thing. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, sis. No, you go ahead, sis.
Well, I would
I'll
say
comment.
this. I would say this is that you know what? Every time you step out the door, you're walking in faith because you don't know whether when you step out this door, whether it's going to be whatever's going to happen. When you get in your car, you're in faith, right? Because you're hoping that when you turn that dang on key, the car going to start, and when you ride down the street, you're not going to get into an accident. So everything that we do is based in the faith that listen, I hope nothing's going to happen. So like. Faith is all like, okay, I'll faithfully do this every day. You go to work every day faithfully, right? You do things on a regular day, hoping that things go all right, you know. But when we talk about this stuff, when we talk about the alphabet, we talk about A, B, and the understanding of the alphabet being also a form of like understanding life. That our words equal out to is more than just the alphabet, the things that we use to speak and the words that we use to express ourselves are more than just words, and that these things can create our reality. And that's what they're talking about in this Gospel of Thomas with Jesus is that, you know, hey, our words are more than just mere words, that actually goes into understanding what speech is and what our communication really is, right? So faith is one thing, but communication is another.